Welcome back, and you're still watching Smart Men's Business. And of course, right about now, don't forget that the markets in ZAB are going to be open just 10 minutes from now. So if you want to invest in government bonds and securities, you can reach out to ZAB, and they say no hassle, just dial *29#. Not going to do the long queues, just dial *29#. And for the promise, all the steps so that you can, see what they have for you, what packages they have for you. So you can invest as low as 15,000 Ghana shillings. And of course, working days for Zabu are Monday to Friday, except for public holidays, and of course weekends, from 8:15 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. That is approximately 7-6 working days. So definitely, I must say, if you want to invest in government bond securities, the markets in Zabu are open, and they're there to give you what you need. And of course, they tell you, my money, my future. No Tax East Africa tells you to do something new. It's the year 2023. And of course, right about now, I'm joined with Andrew Babridge, and we are still talking matters regarding the trade relations between Uganda and South Africa, and how the visa blockages are going to affect South Africa, and of course, people that are planning to invest in South Africa, and those that are willing to work in South Africa. So we are, but before we go there, we want to first get motivated and get ourselves energized for the day. Let's see what we have for you today. Mistakes make you, but you make mistakes, but mistakes do not make you. So you are not defined by the mistakes you make. So there's a possibility of you actually redefining who you are. You're not defined by your mistakes, because you can still shine regardless of whatever happened in the past or whatever that have just transpired. So definitely you are not defined with whatsoever things that you do wrong, but then that doesn't make you feel entitled to make mistakes. Come on, really, just because you're not defined by your mistakes. Anyway, that is it for the inspiration, and of course to visualize yourself. What do you see in a few years to come? You see yourself as a business man or lady? Do you see yourself as a CEO of your own company? How do you visualize yourself every day you wake up in the morning? Do you have a vision for 5 years to come, 10 years to come, or you're just waiting for the day to end and tomorrow gets to start? Well, visualize, and of course, be productive, work hard, okay? This is where in a generation and era where you have to work hard, okay? If you're not known anywhere, you gotta work hard. So, Andrew Babridge, still talking matters of trade between South Africa and And Uganda, how we are going to be, okay, we may not actually be affected as other countries because, I mean, we had the summit and very many issues were brought on table. Maybe a solution could have been provided.
Oh, yeah. What is going on, of course, Uganda trade relations. But, of course, before I get in there, just a quick one. I mean, something to do with what happened in Libya. Some other aspect which people don't mind, really, which is actually very worrying. Remember, this is a country that is part of the OPEC. OPEC, that's the oil exporting countries, are producing about 1 million barrels a day. And now it's under catastrophe.
Floods.
So now, yesterday, the oil price has actually hit a 10-month high. That is after the flood. Catastrophe. So the global oil prices climbed above $92. That is per barrel. That was yesterday for the first time in nearly 10 months. And as the energy market braces for supply disruptions, which were caused by Libya.
Wow.
So we have supply disruptions. OPEC, it's like I said, it's part of the OPEC.
Yeah.
Producing 1 million barrels per day. So that means there is a supply disruption.
Yes.
In terms of oil globally.
So, because of that floods.
Exactly.
Transport is going to be hindered.
Exactly. So that means the U.S. economy is going to be disrupted as a result of that, and that is going to also likely to cut across Africa. So I don't know what really that points out, but like we say, we always give you insights of what is actually going to be coming,
so
and you prepare yourself appropriately.
You shouldn't be surprised if fuel prices by tomorrow increase by like
it
one
may
of
not
the
be by
shillings.
tomorrow.
It was already.
But by the time I came, they're still standard.
They're still standard.
Yeah, 5,410. But of course, we don't know what it's going to be like in the coming 3 weeks or 2 weeks, what is going to be coming. Now, of course, the latest rally of oil prices will continue to push prices at the pump for consumers and, of course, add inflation across the global economy. Now, analysts blame the surge to the Libya floods, which will temporarily disrupt all disruptions with our OPEC nation, which produces 1 million barrels a day. Now, of course, this flooding comes just a week after Russia and Saudi Arabia sent up prices climbing by announcing plans that is to extend their aggressive supply cuts.
We are really not yet. We've not yet really felt the pressure.
We are likely to face it.
We're really still a bit relaxed seeing a country like Libya that actually produces 1 million barrels a day being affected, and the US. So definitely, I don't know what is it for us, Africa, who actually import oil. So anyway, let's first look at the social report and, of course, matters relating to the visas that have been blocked, the South African visas that have been blocked.
Maybe before we get into that report, we need first of all understand what is the value when it comes to the trade ties between Uganda and South Africa. What is the value of the exports? We need to take a look at what's the value of what Uganda exports to South Africa vis-a-vis what South Africa actually exports to Uganda. Okay, now this is Uganda exports to South Africa. That is for the past 10 years, so you can actually see pharmaceutical products in the different years. Of course, our timeline here starts at 2014. You can see what Uganda exports to South Africa. But now, based on what you're actually looking at there, the ultimate question is that what does it mean? What does it mean? Now, we see that based on that, the trade relationship between Uganda and South Africa has seen significant growth since the formal diplomatic relations that were established in 1994. Now the trade volumes have increased over the years, with South Africa exporting, of course, higher value products to Uganda, while Uganda exports primarily exports lower value goods. Now we see that the trade volume between the two countries increased. That is from 76 million in 1999 to 334 million US dollars in 2019. However, in 2022, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, trade slowed down. That is to 148.8 million US dollars. Now, there is some sort of a trading balance still. If we are to take a look at this, that South Africa appears to have a big to have a trade advantage as it exports high-value products such as machinery, vehicles, chemicals, and electronics to Uganda, while Uganda exports low-value products like cotton, gold, and agricultural products to South Africa. Now, these trade imbalances suggests that there is an opportunity for Ugandan businesses to explore, that is to increase exports of value-added products to South Africa. Now, there is the aspect of investment. We know that some Ugandan entrepreneurs have set up businesses in South Africa to import Ugandan products. Now, this demonstrates a growing interest in cross-border investments and trade relationships, encouraging more such investments which can bridge the trade gap. Now, for investors intending to trade with South Africa, this is maybe what you can put into consideration. There is the aspect of diversifying the product range, something which you should put into consideration, as you can explore opportunities to diversify your product range. You know, what are you putting out there? What kind of value are you adding up there? It's also very key. Now, there is the aspect of quality and standards, something which also has to be looked into to ensure that the products meet the South African quality, safety standards, and complying with international standards. That is, which can help you access more markets and even build much more trust and much more partners as a result of that. Now, partnerships and networking is also some other key aspect. Maybe probably we have another statistics that reveals the goods that South Africa exports to Uganda. We can take a look at that. That is for the past still 10 years. I kindly request the producer to put that as we keep this analysis flowing. That is for the that's what we've been looking at. There is we had something to do with a graph that deals with what exactly. Now, that is from 2012 to 2022, 10 years. So these are the South. This is what South Africa now exports to Uganda. You can see a huge range reaching to up to 180 million. Now we're talking about $1 million. So vis-a-vis what we get from South Africa, you can see that there is quite some huge deficit actually that we experience. If you can take a look. Now, we're still trying to find ways for those investors that are in Uganda and they're trying to invest with South Africa efficiently, and there is the aspect of partnerships and networking. There is need to establish partnerships and networks with South African businesses and trade support institutions. This can help you navigate the market more effectively and identify potential buyers and distributors. Then investment opportunities, explore opportunities in sectors such as agriculture, agro-processing, if we are to actually divert that curve. You know, energy, tourism, mineral processing, because South Africa offers a diverse range of opportunities and the government often provides incentives to investors. Now, there is the market entry strategy, something which also has to be considered. Develop a well thought out market entry strategy that considers factors like pricing, distribution channels, and marketing. And now, of course, consider also leveraging e-commerce and online platforms for reaching wider audiences. Then, of course, we have the aspects of local regulations. You know, understand the legal regulatory frameworks in both countries, that is including tax policies, intellectual property rights, and the labor laws. Seek legal advice, of course, when necessary. And now, of course, networking events, attend trade and investment summits and exhibitions like the one we've actually just had a few days ago. Now, these events actually provide opportunities for networking and building valuable business relationships at the same time. So you can actually see how you benefit from that. Masi, I don't know what you think. There's quite a huge gap there, a deficit. South Africa seems to be the one benefiting from the trade ties in terms of exporting more, yet we also export, but the value of the goods we export to South Africa.
Of course, the value of the goods that we export is not, you cannot compare it with what we actually
But there is
import.
room for improvement.
There is room for improvement, actually, if we add value on the things we do, because we actually import things like steel, big things really, and the amount is really different. So I mean, the comparison is actually,
but
what we import is really quite expensive from what we export to them. So I don't think we expect to them produce pharmaceuticals, something, but I don't. Pharmaceuticals. Fertilizers. I don't think they're quite that expensive compared to the materials that we get from them.
Well, I believe that factor.
Okay, there is a gap, a huge gap, a huge one. But then we are with this summit that happened. I think there were measures on how we're going to balance. It's going to be a balance, you know, so that we can both win.
We can both
50-50.
win. Yeah,
It shouldn't be a 70-30 thing. It has been a 70-30 thing, if you come to realize it. Or 80-20.
Yeah, of course, 80-20 around there, 70-30 are quite very huge. And actually, our summer is about to start Uganda and started up businesses in South Africa. A good example of mentioning, and they're importing Ugandan products. So to make it feel like it's South Africa importing. And there is a gentleman, I think I had a name here of a gentleman that actually does that. He decided to open up a business in South Africa and is importing that is Ugandan products. So he's providing a market. I think it's called, is it Andrew Muchivi? Yes, Andrew Muchivi has set up a business in South Africa to import Ugandan products, and they're being used in the South African market strategy. So we need more of that, of those perspectives. But of course, despite what is happening, which brings us to our question of the day about the visa blockage.
No, the visa blockage that is going to hinder businesses within South Africa, and of course, not only in Uganda, but globally. But for us, we are focusing on Uganda.
Uganda.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into what is the feedback like coming out from that. How is the visa restriction going to affect for those Ugandans that are planning to execute businesses in South Africa? Well, it's exactly 22 minutes past 8, and you're still watching Smart Means Business and Management Region with Masu Katsime here. And of course, today looking into the trade ties that is between South Africa and Uganda. And of course, later on the show, we shall be having an exporter, a Ugandan trader that actually exports in South Africa, as we shall be breaking down of what benefit have the relations between South Africa and Uganda benefited the entire community in Uganda, for those people, most especially when it comes to the traders that are exporting to South Africa. How are their household incomes being improved as a result of that? Well, and also still, Masi, what should people do if they want to buy government bond securities? Oh,
of course, markets in Zabu are actually open right about now.
Yeah.
So you can reach out to them if you dial *29# and follow. That is the code, so you can follow the prompts and procedures. If you want to invest in government bonds and securities, so you can invest as low as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. That is the lowest you can go. So from Monday to Friday, that is their working holidays except for public holidays and weekends. So public holidays, there's a public holiday and a weekend, I don't expect Zabu to be operational. So they are powered by Alltex East Africa, and of course they're telling you to do something new. It's the year 2023. Zabu says, my money, my future. And of course, it's 23 minutes past 8 a.m. and of course, Smart Means Business goes for a short commercial break, and we shall be back with business. We are having an interview in the pipeline.